لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Last week we finished the last chapter on Sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal from Quran. What was the topic last week we covered?
Seeing Allah.
Seeing Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. Now Allah said, لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَ وَزِيَادَةً. For those people who do ihsan, what does husna mean? لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَ. Who remembers Husna? Husna?
Jannah.
Jannah. The name of the Jannah, Al-Husna. What is Ziyada?
It's increase.
What does the tafsir here mean?
I'm not sure.
Mustafa?
Ziyada to increase?
No, not here.
And more?
No.
In this context, it will be to see Allah.
Seeing Allah. So, for those who do good deed, they'll have Jannah and they have more. That is to see the face of Allah. طيب. Allah says, على الأرائك ينظرون. Okay. What does this tafsir mean? Ara'ik, arika. They'll be sitting on their couches and they'll be looking. Does looking mean waiting or looking something? Who knows?
It's waiting.
Waiting. Okay, waiting.
It could be looking if there's ilah before it.
Okay, so we said here, grammatically covered that here mean to wait, but because they're Ahlul Jannah, they're nothing to wait. They're looking. So they'll be looking at what? Huh? No. Okay, that's one of the tafsir. They're looking at Allah Azza wa Jal. What other tafsir we mentioned? Explanation.
Like when they see something, they look at it and they get it immediately. They don't
Okay, that's their reward. So there's nothing to wait for. Okay, they'll get it straight away. We mentioned other tafsir. Remember?
See the face of Allah.
They'll say face of Allah. Go on.
Seeing the people of Jahannam get punished.
Jahannam punish. Okay, they will be laughing at them. The people of the hellfire, the non-Muslim will be burning. That's one of the tafsir as well. طيب. Some of the Ahlul Bid'ah says Allah will not be seen, and they use ayah like لا تدركه الأبصار. The eyes cannot comprehend. So use the ayah to say you're going to see Allah. So how do you explain that? لا تدركه الأبصار. They can't comprehend Allah. They can't encompass Allah Azza wa Jal. So they're not going to see Allah.
There's going to be like a punishment for them. Is it?
No. Do you remember? No. Inshallah.
They will be able to see Allah, but they won't be able to encompass.
Yes. So also we said, what else we said?
There's verses that show that the people will look at Allah as well.
Okay, so we said idrak here, it's not, idrak doesn't mean ru'ya, it means ihata, meaning that they will see Allah, but they will not be able to comprehend Allah Azza wa Jal, encompass Allah Azza wa Jal. And we give example with the book, and then we give example of, Buruj, whatever, or the town itself, London. You can see London, but you can't make ihata, you can't comprehend, encompass the whole London. So the ulama said that the believers will see Allah, but they will not encompass Allah Azza wa Jal. So idrak here doesn't mean ru'ya. It's not denying the seeing Allah, it's denying the ihata, the encompassing. Yeah. طيب. So we covered, alhamdulillah, that's good. So yeah, so that's طيب. Last question is that, or maybe two more, is that when Aisha said to Masruq that whoever speaks to you, that Allah Azza wa Jal, that Prophet saw Allah, he's lying. Ibn Abbas says, Prophet saw Allah. So what is the jam of this? How do you harmonize them? Were you here last week, inshallah?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ibn Abbas says, Prophet saw Allah. Aisha said, no, he did not see Allah. He's lying, whoever said that. How do you harmonize those two athar?
The hijab.
Okay, now Ibn Abbas says he saw Allah. Aisha said, no, he did not. Whoever said that. Go on.
And you mentioned you can see something, but you can't, like you didn't encompass.
No. No one's seen Allah.
No one's-
But Ibn Abbas said he saw Allah. Mustafa, did you hear that?
I did hear, but I can't.
Okay, we go remember all this. Okay, go on.
He saw Allah with his heart.
Who said that?
Can't remember.
Ibn Abbas said that, yeah. ما كذب الفؤاد فؤاد ما رأى. That the heart doesn't lie what he sees. Okay, that's Ibn Abbas. And Aisha one?
The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ explained to, I think it was Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, he said that there was a veil of light, so he didn't see him with his eyes, but it was with the heart instead.
No, the Abu Dhar hadith denies Allah didn't see Allah, Prophet did not see Allah Azza wa Jalla. The two, Aisha and Ibn Abbas have a conflict here now. Aisha saying that Allah, Prophet did not see Allah. Ibn Abbas says, no, Prophet did see Allah. There's no contradiction here. When Ibn Abbas affirmed it, he affirmed with the heart. The Prophet saw Allah with the heart. When Aisha denied, Prophet saw Allah, denying they're saying with the eyes. No one seen Prophet, no one seen Allah Azza with the eyes. Nobody. So that's this is how we do jam'a. The harmonizing the two athar. That's what it means. Yeah. طيب, خلاص. So that's an important topic. So remember that, inshallah. Hope you. Last question. When Allah said to Musa, "Lan tarani," Allah negate seeing here. What does here negating mean? Go on.
In the dunya.
Dunya. In dunya, you will never see Allah. Why is that?
Because
Why?
If Allah reveals His hijab in the dunya, it would perish the.
That hadith will perish everything. Secondly, our eyes can't comprehend. Our eyes cannot take it. In Jannah, Allah will give us the eyes. طيب, to see Allah Azza wa Jalla. طيب. So let's start, inshallah. So we finished one half of the book, which is all the ayat, all the verses that Shaykhul Islam mentions regarding sifat of Allah, attributes of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Now we're going to enter into Sunnah. The Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. طيب. في سنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. طيب. Before we do that, Shaykhul Islam said, قال مؤلف شيخ الإسلام فالسنة تفسر القرآن وتبينه وتدل عليه وتعبر عنه. طيب. Sunnah explains the Quran, he clarifies it, he guides to Quran, and expresses in the Quran. Sunnah expresses regarding the Quran. We'll cover this slowly, inshallah. So let's talk about the word Sunnah. Because Shaykhul Islam says, As-Sunnah tufasir Quran. So what does Sunnah mean, lughatan? Lughatan, As-Sunnah ma'na at-tariqah, a path. Okay? And Prophet used the word Sunnah in the hadith, meaning path. When he said to the people, the companions, when they came to Prophet and said, a lot of benefit from this hadith, is that they said, Ya Rasulullah, ij'al lana dhata wa anwad. Kama lahum dhata anwad. Prophet said that, Allahu Akbar, innakum latarakabunna sunanan man kana qablakum. Okay? That when the companion said to the Prophet, give us a tree called Dhata Anwad. The Dhata Anwad is a tree, palm tree we say, that the mushrik were hanging their sword on the tree. We covered this in Kitab al-Tawheed. And why did they do that? They believe the tree will give barakah to the sword so we can fight good. طيب. So Sahaba, remember this hadith says, Hudatha, they were new in the deen. The Sahabas were new in the deen. But this statement, this belief is major kufr. And Prophet did not make takfir on them. Didn't say you're kuffar, because they're ignorant. They didn't know. But Prophet taught them the lesson. He taught them lesson. Okay? So we learn from the hadith is that if someone were to do act of kufr, make a statement of kufr, major kufr, but the person is ignorant, he's excused. So that's why the Sahaba were excused. And the one they were told by Prophet ﷺ, they never went back to that again. So what was it? So they wanted a tree like the mushrik has it, so they can hang their sword. So Prophet ﷺ became upset and he said, you said exactly what Musa, the Bani Israel said to Musa alayhi salam. You know when Musa alayhi salam and the Bani Israel, they crossed the river, okay, when they went to the other side of the river, what did they saw? People glorify the idols. They said same thing to Musa, give us something like that. And Musa alayhi salam said, you're people of ignorant. He didn't say you're kuffar, but he said people of ignorant. So Prophet said that, you said exactly what Bani Israel said to Musa alayhi salam. Okay? So he said, La tarakabunna sunan. You'll follow the sunan, the way, like people before you, the Jews. طيب? So sunan here means, sunan is probably sunnah, path. You follow their path, people before you. Tariqa. Linguistically, we can use this word, sunnati yawm al-jum'ah, and albisa thawban bayda, that my sunnah is to wear Friday white thawb. My sunnah. Okay? Sunnati yawm al-jum'ah an akul lahma. That my sunnah, my way, is that on Friday I eat meat. Anything like that. The sunnah is linguistic sunnah. Okay? It's linguistic, that's what it means. So everybody has their sunnah, linguistically, they have their own sunnah to do certain things, certain way. Tayyib? That's okay. Now, sunnah, when it comes to istilahat, when it comes to usage, there are three or four. So according to the muhaddithun, they use the word sunnah. But what do they mean by sunnah? They mean that ما أضيف إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قولا فعلا تقريرا خلقا وخلقا. طيب. So they say that anything that attribute to Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, okay, statement, action, approval, and anything that relate to khuluq. Khuluq is his adab, his character, and khalqan, his feature. طيب? So any of these you'll find in the hadith. Prophet's statement, his approval you'll find in the hadith. His action, Sahaba described him, did certain action, you'll find it. You'll find in the hadith, Prophet's his adab. طيب? And Allah described Prophet's adab. Aisha described Prophet adab. He's the Quran, walking Quran. Also you'll find hadith, Sahabas described how he looks like. Khalqan. Okay? He's how he actually looks, how tall, how skinny, how his beard, his forehead, how he used to walk, everything. Who narrated that? Sahabas. Okay? Sahabas described how Prophet he looks like. Tayyib. So this is hadith. This is sunnah, or you can say hadith, according to the muhaddithun. Tayyib. Sunnah according to the usuliyun, the people scholars of usul, the usul fiqh, Islam principles who are specialized in that science of Islam. Tayyib, they said sunnah to us, to the usul, people scholars of usul, is that it is anything that attributes to Prophet Islam, statement, action, approval, okay, that is sunnah with us. But the difference between muhaddithun and usul is that they use the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, his action and his approval to derive ruling from it. Tayyib. So let me give you an example. Prophet said that in the hadith, he commanded us, مَا نَحَيْتُكُمْ عَنْهُ فَاجْتَنِبُوا وَمَا أَمَرْتُمْ بِفَأْتُمْ مِنْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Whatever I forbade, leave. Whatever I command you to do as much as you can. So anything Prophet command, so Usul said, okay, Prophet commanded us to follow him. He commanded us to leave whatever he forbade. So that means wajib upon us. We have to leave what he commands us to leave. And we have to do what he commands us to do. Tayyib. So anything the Prophet commands, we have to do it. Tayyib. So let's take some of the hadith that relate to Prophet's actions. Like in the hadith you'll find Prophet did sunnah rawatib. After Dhuhr, after Maghrib, after Isha, he did sunan. So the scholars have said, okay, these are hadith shows the action of the Prophet ﷺ in his salah. Okay, that he never left this salah. Okay, he always did this. So they say it is mustahab. So any sunan, anything Prophet did not leave, but he did not command you to do it, but he never leaved. He always did. They say it's mustahab, mandub. We don't leave this. We should try and do as much as we can. Okay? And the hadiths are there. The sunan of Dhuhr. Prophet never left it, except if it's a musafir. The witr prayer. Any sunan, Prophet never left it. So we shouldn't leave it. If you leave it, you're not sinful, but you're leaving something mustahab. So the ulama, they use these statements to derive ruling. So sometimes another aspect of it is that Prophet ﷺ commands you to do something. The command here in two types, in worship, in akhlaq. So in Prophet command us to do anything in akhlaq, in adab, they say it is, if his command is mustahab. If Allah Prophet command you to leave something that relate to adab, manners, then it's makruh. That's how they derive ruling. So for example, Prophet command us to take things with the hand, right hand, and give with the right hand. It's a command in there, it's a command. So they say, giving with the right, taking with the right, in the form of adab, akhlaq. They say it's mustahab. Okay? Prophet forbade to take anything with the left and give with the left. He forbade. So they say, because it is deal with manners and things like that, it is makruh. Tayyib, that they use these adillas. Can you see how they derive ruling? Okay? The usuliyun. Also, their hadith, Prophet tell you to do something, or he'll forbid something for you to do, then he does it himself. So for example, he showed his tie to the companion, his tie. The Sahabas were looking at it. And when Uthman came, he covered it. Okay? So the Sahabas, Ya Rasulullah, how come you showed your tie to us? But when Uthman came, he covered it. He said, how can I not be shy to a companion? This is his son-in-law, where malaika are shy. So he showed his tie. Then he was walking and he saw one of the companion, he was riding beast, and he showed his tie, the Sahabas. Okay? And he said, he mentioned the Sahabas name and said, don't show your tie because it is awrah. So the ulama says, okay, Prophet he showed his tie, the Sahabas he forbade him. So how do we harmonize that? They say that this is makruh. It's makruh. Or because this is something the Prophet did it, but he forbade, means makruh, don't do it. Tayyib. So they use this adillah to describe, to come to the ruling of Sharia ruling, ahkam. Also another example, Prophet he forbade drinking standing. He drank himself. The ulama they use this evidence. What do we do now? The Sahaba says, the ulama says, it is makruh to drink standing up. Tayyib. So many evidence we can give, adillah we can give. So usuliyun, they use this statement of the Prophet ﷺ, his action, his approval, to come to a ruling. Whereas muhaddithun, they don't do that. That's what they just say, that sunnah is this, what we have mentioned. But usuliyun said, sunnah is this, but we're going to use this statement, action, approval, to come to ruling of sharia. Is it halal, haram? Is it mustahab? Is it wajib, mandub, makruh? You know, these things we need to know, isn't it? That's how they come to the ruling. Tayyib. Then you have fuqaha. The fuqaha, they use the hadith, all these hadith, statement, action, approval, and they say, according to fuqaha, if they say it's wajib, mean you have to do. According to fuqaha, it's sunnah, mean you don't have to do it. If you do it, you get reward. If you leave it, you don't get sin for it. Tayyib. So, my brothers, we have, this is the definition of sunnah that the ulama has given to us. Tayyib. Now, when it comes to Quran, sunnah is mentioned in the Quran. Okay? And it comes, the word hikmah. As Allah said, وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ, that He taught you the book and the hikmah. Hikmah means the sunnah. طيب. Also Allah said, وَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ, that Allah has revealed to you kitab, the book. We covered this, isn't it? Kitab means book, the Quran. وَالْحِكْمَةِ, and means sunnah. طيب. And in the hadith of Prophet he said that, أَلَا إِنِّي أُوتِيتُ الْكِتَابَ Quran وَمِثْلُهُ مَعَهُ. That I have been given a Quran and something like that, okay, which is the Sunnah. طيب. So Allah refers Sunnah in the Quran as well, and many verses. Allah said, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Okay, Allah said that if you differ any matters, refer back to Quran and the Sunnah, meaning Allah and His Messenger. Ibn Abdul Bar said, which means that فَرُدُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِذَا كَانَ حَيٍّ بَعْدَمَا قُبِضَ إِلَى السُّنَّةِ. That فَرُدُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ meaning refer to Allah, the book, okay, and refer to Rasul. If he's alive, go to Rasul. After his death, you go to his Sunnah. طيب. Also in the Quran, Allah said, وَمَا آتَكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَى عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُ. That whatever Prophet give you, take it. Whatever he tell you to leave, you leave it. This is ayah of the Quran. What is Allah saying? Whatever Prophet tell you to leave, you go to the Sunnah, isn't it? You go to the Sunnah. So in the Quran, you'll find lot of things are mentioned about Sunnah. The Quran is the highest level. The Imam Shafi mentioned that Quran is the highest in the Sunnah, and Imam Shafi mentioned in the Risala that the Sunnah does not abrogate the Quran, which is wrong. Quran Sunnah does abrogate the Quran, and we can give you example. That's Imam Shafi in the book Risala. There's a mistake there, because there is clear evidence where Sunnah abrogate the ayah of the Quran, and I'm sure you know it. We covered this before, Nasikh al-Mansukh, and the classical example. Who knows it?
The Qibla.
No, that's Quran abrogate the hadith. Now the mut'a, isn't it? Mut'a marriage. You know mut'a marriage is haram anyway until Yawm al-Qiyamah. طيب. Mut'a is once upon a time was halal in the Quran, Surah An-Nisa. Okay, and Muhammad Mukhtar Shanqiti in Adwal Bayan, he talks about this, talking about mut'a. Once upon a time, Allah allowed the believers to get married with intention of divorcing. Maybe in jihad, whatever, because you marry, you come here for 1 month, I'm going to marry you with intention of divorcing you, to make it easy for the Muslims. Once upon a time, it was halal. But when the conquest of Mecca came, hadith of Ali, Prophet said, mut'a was halal once upon a time, now is haram until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Okay? So what abrogates this now? This hadith abrogates the ayah. Ayah allowed it, but then hadith comes, he abrogates the ayah. طيب. So Sunnah can abrogate Quran, Sunnah can abrogate Sunnah, Quran can abrogate Quran, Quran can abrogate the Sunnah as well. All are allowed in Sharia. طيب. So let's go to what Shaykhul Islam says. قال مؤلف Shaykhul Islam ibn Taymiyyah رحمه الله فالسنة تفسر القرآن وتبينه. Okay, Sunnah explain the Quran. Now, a lot of there Aqwal Salaf that they've said that Quran need the Sunnah more than the Sunnah need the Quran, and we'll find out now, inshallah. A lot of Ahkam al-Shar'iyyah, Sunnah explains it. طيب, let's give you some of the examples. طيب, how Sunnah explains the Quran. And we have given example like لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَ وَالزِّيَادَةِ. For those who do good deeds, follow Quran and Sunnah, they will have Jannah, Husna, Jannah. وَالزِّيَادَةِ, they will have extra. Quran doesn't explain this. Who explains this? Hadith, isn't it? Suhaib, we've read the hadith last week, isn't it? So the ziyada here explained by the hadith, that to see the face of Allah. That's one example. You will say the other example is that وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ بِالظُّلْمِ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ أَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. It's in Kitab al-Tawheed, we covered this. As for those who believe and they do not mix their shirk, Tawheed and shirk together, okay, then they will have amn and protection. So the Sahabas, when the ayah revealed, the Sahabas was shocked. They said, Ya Rasulullah, who among us will not oppress ourselves? We will surely oppress ourselves, even the others as well. We're human beings. The Prophet said, who's explaining this now? Prophet of Allah. He's saying, it is not a dhulm which you're thinking about. Have you not heard Luqman alayhi salam, when he was admonishing his son, he said, Ya bunayya, la tushrik billah, inna shirka la dhulmun azim. O my son, do not commit any shirk with Allah. Do not associate anything with Allah Azza wa Jal. Indeed, shirk is the greatest oppression. So dhulm here that Allah is talking about is the shirk. So Prophet explained the ayah. Okay? So, sunnah tufassir Quran. Okay? Also, Allah said, last example, Allah said, السارق والسارقة فاقطعوا أيديهما. السارق والسارقة فاقطعوا أيديهما. Thieves from male and female. If you catch them, cut their hand. What is yad in Arabic? From here to here. Isn't it? That's yad. What do we cut? Here? La. So Sunnah explained this ayah. Prophet explained, you cut up to the here. Okay? So see the how Quran ayah is there, but Sunnah has to come and explain what is this ayah mean. And many things in the Quran, Allah commands us to make Hajj. But where do you really find out how to do Hajj? It's in the Sunnah. You go to the Sunnah, and Sunnah explains you what is how to make Hajj. طيب. So Sunnah يفسر القرآن. Sunnah explains the Quran. وتبينه. يعني there's a difference between tafsir and tabeen is that that explains, that makes it clear. Okay? More clear. So for example, this is an example I'm going to give you now inshallah. For example, Hajj actually it falls here as well. Like Allah commands us to pray. Okay? أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل والقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا. Allah says, so Allah commands us to pray. Establish your salah لدلوك الشمس. Duluk here mean when the sun zawal, when the sun is slanting towards the Maghrib, west, until the ghasaq al-layl, until the sunset. So the ulama says, this ayah here, the first part of the ayah is Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha. طيب. وَالْقُرْآنَ الْفَجْرِ إِنَّ الْقُرْآنَ الْفَجْرِ مَشْهُودًا. Then the rest of the Quran, and the rest of the Quran is testified by the Malaika, that's Surah Al-Fajr. This is Surah Al-Fajr. So Allah commands us to pray here, yeah? But how do we know how to pray? We go to the Sunnah. The Sunnah explains to us how to pray. And let me give an example. He explains to us that Jibreel came to Prophet ﷺ. He came to Prophet at the time of Dhuhr, beginning, one day, beginning of all the Salah. Second day he came, end of all the Salah. طيب. And he said, these salawat I've taught you 5 times a day are between those times. But the Quran doesn't teach you that, this timing. You know the hadith we covered. He came at the Dhuhr beginning time, and then he came at the end of Dhuhr, which is beginning of Asr. Then he came next day he came, second day he came end of all the salawat. First day, all the beginning of the time of the salah. Second day, last end of the salah, of all the salah. طيب, the timing. And then he said, your prayer is between all this time. طيب, and the Prophet before you as well. So the hadith explains, when the Dhuhr start, Asr start, Maghrib start, Isha start, you'll find all in the hadith. So here, Sunnah tubayyinu, clarifies it. Okay? How to pray, how to make Hajj. طيب, Hajjul Arafah. Hajj is Arafah. If you miss Arafah, your Hajj is gone, finished. You have to make Hajj again. There is no kafara, nothing. Where do we find this? In the Sunnah. The Quran doesn't say that. طيب. We pray, we go to Mina first. Sunnah says that. We don't go to Arafah. Then we go to Arafah next day. We pray Dhuhr and Asr in Arafah. Maghrib and Isha Muzdalifah. Where do you get all this from? It's Sunnah. Sunnah tubayyin al-Quran. Okay? But Allah commands us to make Hajj. But He doesn't say how to make Hajj. Okay? Then we have to go to the Sunnah. طيب. So any ahkam shar'iyyah that you'll find okay, in the Sunnah, and Sunnah explains it. طيب. So تبينه تعبر عنه. Furthermore, Sunnah he expresses things in the Sunnah that you will not find in the Quran. You know, there's certain ahkam al-shar'iyyah you will not find in the Quran, but you'll find in the Sunnah. Now, for example, shaving the eyebrow. طيب. Making the gaps in the teeth. Okay? Tattoos. Okay? There's some masail you don't find in the Quran, but these are in the Sunnah. Prophet cursed all these people. طيب. Prophet cursed drinking khamr in the hadith. You don't find in the Sunnah, in the Quran. طيب. So Sunnah expresses things regarding Quran which is not in the Quran, but it's in the Sunnah. Some of the ahkam al-shar'iyyah you will not find in the Quran. You will only find in the Sunnah of the Prophet. Like the issue about this woman. She was, I think she was making gap on her teeth or shaving eyebrow. Something to do with that. And Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu reprimanded her. He said, she said, Allah forbade all this. So she goes, I've read the whole Quran. It's not there. It's not there. True, it's not there. But he said, it is. Did you hear what Allah said about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? وَمَا آتَكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever Prophet commands you to do it. Whatever he forbade, then leave it. Look at the ayah. What did Prophet forbade? Where? In the Sunnah. Go to Sunnah. He forbade you to do that. So can you see how Ibn Mas'ud taught her the deen? Said that prohibition is not in the Quran, but Prophet told you to go to Sunnah. I tell you, go to Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. You'll find it's forbidden in the Sunnah, but it's not in the Quran. Subhanallah. So Sunnah tu'abbiru an. Sunnah expresses things which is not in the Quran. Some of the ahkam al-shar'iyyah. طيب. So we covered that. Alhamdulillah. tu'abbir anhu. Also Shaykhul Islam says, وَتَدُلُّ عَلَيْهِ. Okay, we forgot to say that. Sunnah tufasir Quran tubayyinuhu wa tadullu alayhim wa tu'abbir anhu. Okay, we covered that. Tadullu alayhi meaning that Sunnah tuwafiqul Quran. The certain thing in the Quran, Sunnah agrees with the Quran. And whatever Prophet forbids, Allah agree with that because He speaks with the revelation, nothing else. Allah says in the Quran, Man yuti'ur Rasul faqad ata'a Allah. That whoever obeys Rasul obeyed Allah. Agreeing, okay? وَمَنْ يَعْصِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا مُبِينًا. That whoever disobey Allah and His Messenger, then they've gone misguided, far and far. طيب. So, lot of things is Sunnah and Quran, you find agreement. They come together. Okay? So Sunnah guide you to the Quran. Like وَمَا أَتَكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever Prophet give you, take it. Whatever he forbid, leave that. And you find same thing in the Hadith. This is ayah. The Hadith says, مَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ عَنْهُ فَاجْتَنِبُوا وَمَا أَمَرْتُ بِفَأْتُوا مِنْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. That whatever forbade, leave. Whatever command you to do as much as you can. It's like the ayah as well. So muwafaqa, the Sunnah and Quran, they have agreement in many things as well. So Shaykhul Islam, then he mentions, after mentioning Sunnah tufasir Quran, tubayyinu tadullu alayhi tu'abbir anhu, after he says all that, طيب, he says, ثم قال رحمه الله تعالى القاعدة وما وصف الرسول به ربه عز وجل من الأحاديث الصحاح التي تلقاها أهل المعرفة بالقبول وجب الإيمان بها كذلك. Whatever Prophet described Allah in the authentic hadith, okay, which is accepted by the muhaddithun and everything, it's wajib upon us to believe it. طيب. Now we have hadith sahih and da'if. And the da'if, which hadith are many. We have sahih, okay, you have sahih li ghayrihi. Sahih is the highest, sahih li ghayrihi next level, then you have hasan li ghayrihi. They all, so sahih li ghayrihi, hasan li ghayrihi, they all grading of the hadith, and we all allowed to practice them. Weak hadith, we don't practice weak hadith. طيب. So if there's anything authentic hadith, we have to accept it and practice it. So there are hadith that talks about Allah's sifat. Tayyib, Allah's sifat, we have to accept those hadith without rejecting. And rejecting authentic hadith is major kufr, as the Salaf said. To reject authentic hadith is a major kufr that will take a person out of follow Islam. So Shaykhul Islam will bring some of the authentic hadith. Now, sometime, having said that, sometime you can have a muhaddith, okay, because I've said to reject the authentic hadith, you take out the follow Islam. It does. You become a kafir. But what about muhaddith? He makes the authentic hadith da'if. That's different ruling. Because he's a mujtahid, he's the imam, according to the research, according to his study, he makes the hadith weak. Let me give you an example. Hadith Abu radiallahu anhum. Inna Allah khalaqa Adam ala suratihi. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. طيب. Indeed, Allah created Adam in Allah's surah, in Allah's fashion. Here means surah, fashion mean Allah gave Adam attributes, hearing and seeing. Okay, that Allah has hearing and seeing as well. But obviously they are not same. So we have certain attributes Allah has given it to Adam that Allah has as well, mahabba as well. You know, these attributes that Allah has as well, Allah gave it to Adam alayhi salam. But they're different in their degrees. This hadith, authentic hadith, Bukhari and Muslim. Do you know one of the Imam makes it da'if? Imam Ibn Khuzaymah. Imam Ibn Khuzaymah, he makes this authentic hadith da'if. And Imam Ahmad ibn Ma'in, every ulama of the Salaf and Khalaf made this hadith sahih, not da'if, authentic hadith. And Ibn Khuzaymah went against ulama. He himself, big alim, big hafiz, but he went against some of the hafiz bigger than him. Imam Ahmad, Ishaq ibn Rahawai, Ali bin Madini. Okay, they're greater than him. But he made it da'if according to his research, his study. That's why you can't say he's A'udhu Billah Mubtadi. This is his Imam. He came to this conclusion. He has his own argument. He has his own evidences to say this hadith da'if. But he was against the ijma'. Shaykhul Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he wrote a rad upon this, again, Ibn Khuzaymah, for the fact he made the hadith da'if. And the book hasn't been published. Subhanallah. So, lot of scholars, Imam al-Dhahabi said, Zalla Ibn Khuzaymah. He has made big mistake by making this hadith da'if when no salaf has preceded him. Can you imagine? Ajib. You know, hadith, that's aqeedah. Sometimes we get issue like this, La nikah illa bi wali. This hadith is authentic. There is no marriage without a wali for the woman. She needs to have a wali. This hadith is authentic by every ulama. Ibn Mughni mentioned this, Ibn Qudam mentioned this. Everyone says authentic. Za'lawi, Imam Ibn Hajar teacher, he makes it weak. He makes the hadith weak, but he's got big research on the hadith. So sometimes you get alim goes against the ijma' and he comes his own conclusion. But this is a fiqh issue. But the other one is aqeedah. In Allah created Adam in his form. Tayyib. So can we say Ibn Khuzaymah mubtadi'? La, he's the imam. But this is ijtihad he made. He'll get reward, 2 reward if it's right, and he'll get 1 reward for ijtihad, and he'll be forgiven for his mistake. So we're not talking about someone and Tom, Dick and Harry. La, alim. He's made ijtihad, he made mistake. We're not saying he's right. He's wrong because he's gone against the ijma'. Tayyib. So Shaykhul Islam saying that when we have authentic hadith, okay, sahih hadith, okay, in aqeedah, anything, but aqeedah in this aspect, we have to accept the hadith. Okay, we have to take it and believe it. If you don't, then this is dalala, and this is misguidance, and your denial of the hadith can be major kufr. Tayyib. Now, the first hadith Shaykhul Islam brings, okay, hadith mutawatir, and this hadith, authentic hadith, Bukhari Muslim, hadith Abu radiallahu anhu. أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ينزل ربنا إلى السماء الدنيا كل ليلة حين يبقى ثلث الليل الآخر فيقول من يدعوني فأستجيب له من يسألني فأعطيه من يستغفرني فأغفر له متفق عليه. This hadith, Bukhari Muslim, hadith Abu radiallahu anhu, the Prophet said that, يَنْزِلُ رَبُّنَا, our Lord comes down to the lowest heaven every night. There's another hadith said, نِصْفُ اللَّيْل, half of the night. He comes down. حِينَ يَبْقَى ثُلُثُ اللَّيْلِ آخر. He remained there, third part of the night. Okay? فَيَقُول, actually that part is another narration said, half of the night he remains. Then Allah says, مَنْ يَدْعُونِي فَأَسْتَجِيبَ لَهُ. 3 things now. Whoever makes dua to me, I will respond to his dua. مَنْ يَسْأَلُنِي فَأُعْتِيَهُ. Whoever asks me, I'll give him. مَنْ يَسْتَغْفِرُنِي فَأَغْفِرِ لَهُ. طيب? And whoever asks my forgiveness, I shall forgive him. Now, when he comes to the Allah coming to the lowest heaven, the first of all, this hadith is mutawatir, meaning that it has lot of narrations on this hadith. Shaykhul Islam says that, and Ibn Qayyim says about 30 companions narrated this hadith. Mutawatir in every level. So it's authentic hadith, has strongest chain, mutawatir. Okay? It's like someone saying, this man is 40 brothers stood up, or 40 ulama said, this man is righteous. What do you think of this man? 40 scholars have said this man is righteous man. Mutawatir, no doubt about it. Tayyib? So 40 Sahabas narrated this hadith, 30 Sahabas, Ibn Qayyim says. Tayyib? So it's mutawatir, we have to believe this hadith now. Okay? We have to believe it. What did Shaykhul Islam say at the beginning of the book? Al-Imanu Billah, Al-Imanu bima wasafa Allah bihi nafsahu fi kitabi, wa bima wasafa bihi rasuluhu. That believing Allah Azza wa Jal is to believe that everything that Allah described himself in the Quran, we covered this, isn't it? Finished, isn't it? And everything Prophet described by Allah in the Sunnah. That's what we are studying now, isn't it? The second part of the hadith. No, second part of the saying of Ibn Taymiyyah. Now we're doing Sunnah now. Tayyib? We covered istiwa, isn't it? Covered Allah rose above the throne, everything. Now we're going to bring the hadith. No more ayahs now. It's hadith and Ibn Taymiyyah's kalam, his speech. Tayyib. So we understand Allah nuzul, Allah comes down to the lowest heaven. This is sifat, his attributes relate to the action. Tayyib. And Allah comes down whenever, however He wishes. How? When? Okay? Up to Allah Azza wa Jal. And He comes down in a way that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib. So, these two firqa now, Mu'tazila and other firqa say, Allah doesn't come down, His command comes down, or His mercy comes down. Tayyib. And Ahlul Sunnah says, no, Allah comes down. And we have revelation in the hadith. The first of all, Yanzilu Rabbuna. We can prove it with the Arabic language. Yanzil, the verb, doing word, doing verb. Rabbuna, Allah is the doer. He's coming down. He did the action of coming down physically. So Allah came down in a way that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib. Now, to say Allah's mercy came down, to say Allah's command came down, then the refutation is end of the hadith. Okay? فَيَقُولُ Man يَقُول Allah مَنْ يَدْعُونِي فَأَسْتَجِيبَ لَهُ. How can a mercy, how can a command say whoever مَنْ يَدْعُونِي, whoever make dua to me? How can you worship other than Allah Azza wa Jal? Dua is only for Allah. We cannot worship the mercy, we cannot worship the command. La, we worship Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. Now, فَيَقُول مَنْ يَدْعُونِي. This dua, the ulama says, dua 2 types, isn't it? Mas'ala, dua al-ibadah. Dua al-mas'ala, dua for your need. So you might ask something for your need. And there are 3 levels. First is, you ask Allah in things that only Allah can help you. Shifa. You are ill, you have cancer, whatever, disease. That's your request to Allah. Mas'ala, your need. That is, you ask Allah to cure you. It's only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib. Anything that only can Allah respond to your dua, He only can respond to your dua and help you, you only ask Allah Azza wa Jal. Secondly, it can be shirk, major shirk. That if you ask Allah, if you ask other than Allah Azza wa Jal for your need, then if you go to a dead person, or you making dua to a doctor to cure your illness, or depending on your doctor or the dead man or the righteous man, that's major shirk. Okay? You asking somebody cannot help you, cannot benefit you. Tayyib? That's major. And dua, second type of dua, al-mas'ala, dua for your need, invocation for your need, is that you ask somebody who can help you, benefit you. So you can ask a brother who's in front of you, he's alive, he's able to help you in the things that he's able to help you. And that's allowed. That's dua al-mas'ala. Dua al-ibadah is only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Dua al-ibadah, the ulama says, where you worship Allah alone and you make dua to Allah for your reward. And this is only for Allah Azza wa Jal. So when Allah Azza wa Jal, or in the hadith or in the Quran, when dua is used, then the ulama says, Ibn al-Qayyim, that includes dua al-mas'ala, dua al-ibadah. There's two types of dua. Dua al-mas'ala, invocation for your need, and dua which is ibadah. So that, first, man yad'uni, whoever invoke on me, make dua to me, that include both of the dua. The ulama says, possibility. And I will respond to your dua. Okay? So here we learn that it cannot be a mercy, cannot be a command of Allah. It's Allah who comes down. Tayyib? Because you can't ask mercy, help me, forgive me. A'udhu billah. You don't worship the mercy, and it doesn't make sense. That's why Shaykhul Islam ibn Taymiyyah, how he refute the argument using this part of the hadith. Okay? Man yas'aluni fa'u'tiyahu. Whoever asks me, I'll give him. How can mercy give you? How can mercy give you shifa? How can mercy give you whatever you want? Mercy cannot give you this. So you can't ask mercy. You're asking Allah. Man yastaghfiruni fa'aghfir lah. Whoever asks my forgiveness, I should forgive him. How can mercy forgive you? Mercy cannot forgive you. It doesn't make sense. It's Allah you asking to forgive you. Tayyib? It's Allah. We ask Allah to forgive us. Okay? So this hadith, Hadithul Nuzul, Ibn Taymiyyah wrote a whole book on this, Kitabul Nuzul, and he explained this hadith. Tayyib. So that's the hadith Shaykhul Islam brings, hadith mutawatir, okay, about Allah's sifatul fi'liyah. Sifat that relate to Allah's action, okay, which is Allah comes down to the lowest heaven. Now the next question is that, when Allah comes down to the lowest heaven, okay, does Allah leave the arsh, or He doesn't leave the arsh, but He comes down? What are the positions of Ahl Sunnah? The Ahl Sunnah has three opinions on this, okay, and we covered this. First opinion is that tawaqquf, and this is the opinion of one of the great scholars who wrote Umdatul Ahkam, which we do tomorrow, inshallah, Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi. Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi, his opinion is that natawaqqaf fi hadhihi al-mas'ala. We remain silent about this mas'ala. Does Allah come down, He leaves the arsh, or He doesn't leave the arsh? We don't say that. We say Allah comes down in a way that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Like the Salaf said, يَفْعَلُ مَا كَيْفَ يَشَاءُ يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ كَيْفَ يَشَاءُ. Okay, Allah does whatever He wishes, how He wishes. We don't know how, He does it. Okay, so they say, we leave it, Allah comes down. How, does He leave the arsh or not leave the arsh? We don't talk about it. That's one of the opinions of the Ahlul Sunnah. So the second opinion is that, they say that Allah comes down, okay, but He's still above the arsh. Okay? That's Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, he believes that. One of the great Imam, he's a teacher of Imam Bukhari. The third opinion is that Allah comes down and He leaves the arsh, but He comes the way befits Allah Azza wa Jal, but Allah is still above Allah's, nothing is above Allah. You know, we're going to think that someone comes down low, that is above. No, it doesn't, for Allah is not. But because Allah Azza wa Jal, a scholar says, never explained to us He leaves the arsh or not, or Prophet never explained to us, does He leave the arsh or He doesn't leave the arsh, we remain silent. But He comes in a way that befits Allah. As a physical movement, Allah comes, okay? Bidati, He comes down in His essence. We just believe that. These Sahaba say, Ya Rasulullah, does Allah leave the arsh or He doesn't leave the arsh? They could have asked the question, isn't it? They could have said, okay, Allah is above the throne. That means He leaves the arsh. They never asked the question, they just believed it. I think we should just leave it as it is. He believes. We just believe Allah comes down physically, bidati, in its true essence, in a way that befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Tayyib. Although other opinions are there, no, he's still above the arsh. He doesn't leave the arsh, He comes down. Another opinion says Allah does leave the arsh. Allahu alam. But Allah does come down in a way that befits Allah Azza wa Jal, inshallah. So, Jazakumullah khair, ikhwa. We will leave that now. If there's any questions, we take that now. Any clarification? Go on.
During Tasawwud, if you say don't repeatedly by accident twice in your salah,
No, it's okay. That's sunnah you're doing. That will not nullify your salah. No, that's okay.
Is it appropriate to say that sunnah of shaitan?
Yeah, sunnah of the shaitan, you can say sunnah of the shaitan to misguide the people. That is sunnah. That is tariqah. Sunnah of the shaitan is to misguide the people. That is sunnah. That's okay, because that's where he is. His path, his way is to misguide the people. Yeah, you can say that, inshallah. Go on.
He said before during the talk that showing thighs.
Say again.
You know about destroying thighs. He says makruh before. Was it sinful?
Which are
showing the thighs.
Huh?
Showing the thighs.
He spoke before about showing the thigh. You know the story.
Oh yes, showing the thigh. It's makruh.
So it's not sinful.
Makruh, the ulama says, then they have to the Prophet committed sin. Isn't it? So Prophet, some say, that's one opinion, they say makruh. Some is that they say it is khas for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because another angle they come from is that إذا تعارض القول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مع فعله يقدم القول على فعله, that if his statement and action contradicts, then we take the statement over the action. So Prophet action is what? He showed the thigh. But his statement is what? He forbade, isn't it? So we say that we take the statement of the Prophet ﷺ to say it is not allowed, and the action that he has done may be khas for him, specifically for him. And when he spoke for the ummah. So we don't show it, but thigh is aura. We shouldn't show it. So that's one of the angles they come from, to say it is not allowed because Prophet's statement takes precedence over his action. Action is for him, but statement he forbade, that's for the ummah. Okay, he speaks to the ummah. Understand? So we say we don't do that. Yeah.
So what's the most authentic opinion? Makruh or sin?
Depend. If showing thigh totally can be sinful for it. Yeah. You can't. It's aura. You can't. It's between the belly button and the baina. Ibn Baz explains it. He didn't say the knee. He said between the knee and your belly button is aura. So what is the between? How far is it? So if you just above the ankle, won't say it's sinful. But if you're going to show all of his thigh, then it can be sinful. That's aura. So yeah, Allah Alam. Yeah. Khalas? Everyone understood that? Okay, go on.
You say Allah, we covered that Allah rose above the
Throne.
And then we are saying that Allah, Allah made the heavens and the earth, and then He rose
Above the throne, yeah.
Where was Allah before that then? Before He rose?
We only can say what Allah said. Hadith ayah said, وَكَانَ عَرْشُهُ عَلَى الْمَاءِ. The arsh was above the throne. That's what the ayah said.
The water.
Above the water, yeah. Apparently, their narration, we have 7th heaven, isn't it? Between every heaven, 500 years of journey. 500. One of the level has water. Allah knows best. So his arsh was above the water. That's what we know. And then when he created heaven and the earth, 6 days, he rose above the arsh. Yeah. The way he befits Allah.
You were saying it's physical movement.
Yeah, Allah rose, yeah. Istawa. Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arsh istawa. He rose above the throne. So yeah, we believe that. Istawa is sifatul fi'aliyah, we covered. Istawa is action of Allah Azza wa Jal, his attributes. And he rose above the throne, the way befits Allah Azza wa Jal. Naam. Go on.
Is there a hadith in Sahih Muslim which says Allah created the heaven and earth on Saturday?
Allah created heaven on Saturday.
Yeah.
I never read that. Maybe I'll find out. I'll send on the group. Sahih Muslim. Allahu Alam. I've read it. I'll check it, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Khalas? طيب. Assalamu alaikum.